welcome back to Space Marine 2. Now, if you guys are not caught up yet, I put up a post yesterday. Can't speak today. I am doing a build video for Bulwark, and I will also be doing a guide showing all of the perks for not only the character itself, but for the weapons as well. I'll go through what I use, why I use it versus what some other people might be using. And we'll get into the guide as well. We will be going into a mission and running through that. So, let's start with the perks. On the character perks itself, if this is all you wanted to see, if you would like, you can go ahead and leave the video now. If you still want to hear my explanation on everything, just stick around for a few minutes, and I'm going to go ahead and go through all this. On the first column here, I see a lot of people running this. The reason I don't run it is because there is a bug with it currently that does not allow you to get a gun strike with the parry. Every so often it will still happen, but I don't like running this for that reason. You can run this one if you really want to, but I like the survivability of the first perk. Hello to everybody in chat, by the way. Hope you guys are having a good day so far. In the second column here, I like to use the Shock and Awe. Shock and Awe is an amazing ability for this. If you are getting that perfect parry, if you're using shot grenades, anything like that, you're getting that instant 25% extra damage to everything in that shock area. It could be bosses, it could be minions, it could be anything. Not saying minions, but, you know, minorous enemies. If we move on to defensive advantage. Cannot speak again. Perfectly timed parry creates a shock area for 5 seconds. Cooldown is 30 seconds. Love this perk. I am parrying constantly as the Bulwark. And if you're playing the Bulwark and you don't know how to parry, parrying with the Bulwark is tied to double tapping the block button. You can also just tap the block button once and it will work, but if you double tap it, it will auto parry. If you are just pressing it once, you might hold it a little too long, he'll block instead for a second instead of the parry, and then you take a ton of damage and die. Just double tap the button, it will save your life. Advanced Conditioning. The absolute best team perk on the Bulwark. Unyielding Ceramite is nice a little bit for early stage Bulwark. If you're levels 1 to 8, run it, of course. But as soon as you unlock Advanced Conditioning, use it. Personally, I don't like using effective formation just because it is so conditional. If you're fighting a Hive Tyrant, yes. If you're fighting a Carnifex, yes. That's great for those. But how often are you really fighting a Terminus level enemy? Not that often. So, stick with Advanced Conditioning. That contested health fading 50% more slowly. So helpful, especially when you unlock a later skill in the tree, and I'll show you that here in just a moment. For the next column, the gear column. This, for early stage, is really good. Use it when you're level 1 to 8. Use that one. Do not, under any circumstances, use Rapid Regeneration. The banner only lasting 5 seconds is not worth it. It's just not worth it. That's not long enough for you to keep yourself alive. You can restore your armor really, really quickly. You can be up to instant full armor in no time. It's not worth it. 5 seconds is not enough time to keep you or your team alive. Stick with the Focus Strength. Focus Strength Shield Bash knocks enemies back and makes them lose control for a longer period of time. You have so long to plan your next attack, and whenever you hit a Shield Bash, you have so long. And you should be shield bashing fairly constantly because it actually allows you to get more gun strikes. That means more armor back to you, more survivability for you. Absolutely worth your time. Use it when you get it. In the next gear column, I personally am using Invigorating Icon When the banner is activated, all squad members regain maximum contested health. This makes the Bulwark invincible. You're low health, you pop the banner down, you regain maximum contested health. You hit an enemy with an execution, you are max health. You are full health immediately. Bulwark is immortal with this. If you need to, you can still use Merciless Resolve until you unlock this, or even Purity of Purpose until you unlock Merciless Resolve. All of these are really good, with Invigorating Icon absolutely being the best in this column. Best in slot. For the next gear slot, I am using Glory's Shield. All squad members within the banner's area of effect take 10% less damage. I don't like the reviving one because I'm typically trying to save my banner until I or my team need it. If you're waiting until a teammate goes down, you're not using the banner effectively. I like the 10% less damage. It's just going to keep your team alive longer. And it's going to be up for a long time because, again, you did not use rapid regeneration back here. Your banner's going to be up for a while. Your team's going to take 10% less damage. They're going to love you for it. This one would also be good, the inspiration for the extra 10% damage that you could deal. But as a Bulwark, I feel like your team needs you to help keep them alive, since you're typically going to be the last one alive on your team anyway. If your teammates go down, you're still going to be the one up. For the signature skill, I am using Defensive Mastery. I see people all the time with their builds, they're running the emergency countermeasure. The emergency countermeasure is nice. It says when your armor is depleted, a reserve shot grenade automatically detonates at your position. Cooldown is 120 seconds. It's the same cooldown as Defensive Mastery. Since I am trying to parry any major I see in order to get that gun strike, in order to get that extra armor back from lowering their health, this is awesome. A perfectly timed parry instantly incapacitates a Majoris or Extremist level enemy. Now, what that means is, let's say you're fighting a swarm of Minoris enemies. A Lictor attacks you out of nowhere. The invisible guy that is absolute pain to your team sometimes. He attacks you out of nowhere, you get that perfect parry, he's instantly incapacitated, pop your banner down, execute him, you're full health. He's dead in one shot. It's absolutely worth it. This is one, in my opinion, it is the best perk on his signature skills. Under no circumstances should you be running Armored Advance. You can if you want to. I personally don't advise it. That's not one that I would run. If you want to run it, by all means try it. You're not going to like it. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's move on to weapons. We're going to start with the power sword, since this is what you're mainly going to be using. And I went pure bottom tree almost on this. Obviously the first one is that extra melee damage by 5%. That's always nice. After switching sword combat style, you take 20% less range damage for 5 seconds, and the cooldown is 10 seconds. So, every 10 seconds you get 5 seconds of 20% less range damage. Works amazingly against any of those ranged Tyranids or any Chaos units. Chaos units are the bane of everybody's existence at this point. I think it's very clear to say that most players are sticking to the Tyranid missions because the Chaos missions, they don't like them. Personally, I like running both. The Tyranid missions I've always leaned more toward, and you can see that from my previous videos. But if you switch between speed style and power style on this sword, instant 20%. You can use that for literally anything. Just change your combat style constantly with this sword. Then you get the extra 5% melee damage. Then we move forward while in power stance, which is the one with the extra cleaving. You do not lose control upon taking heavy hits and cannot be knocked back. This is actually power whirl stance. I'm stupid for a second. So basically, while you're in power stance, if you hit a light attack, wait for a second, that's your power swirl stance. When you use the power swirl, you'll spin around in a circle and slam your power sword down on the ground. Does massive damage, area of effect damage. It is nice. Power style combo length increases from 3 to 4 strikes. This is always nice. You can just get that extra strike, extra crowd control. Awesome, awesome. Moving forward, melee damage against Tyranid enemies increases by 10%. I would love to have this along with the Chaos enemies by 10%, but with the way that we have to have this set up, that's not going to work that way. After killing 10 enemies in rapid succession, with a light combo, you do not lose control upon taking heavy hits and cannot be knocked back for 5 seconds. If you're in power style stance and you're using these light combos, you're going to be killing more than 10 enemies very quickly. This is just great for keeping you from being knocked back. You're just going to keep swinging. Power Rake deals 50% more melee damage. I use Power Rake often. Power Rake is after you hit a light attack. Hold down the bumper to hit the heavy attack. You will hit a Power Rake. Just rake your sword across the ground. It does massive damage. Awesome, awesome, awesome skill. Melee damage against extremist level enemies increases by 15%. That's your Lictors, your Raveners, your... I want to say your Zoanthropes, but who's really hitting them with the sword? If you're able to hit them with a sword, you're cheating at that point. Melee damage against Majoris level enemies increases by 10%, and melee damage against Minoris enemies increases by 20%. That helps out a ton. You're one-shotting most Minoris enemies with this setup, even though this is a fencing sword. I like the fencing sword. You don't have to use the fencing sword. If you're more comfortable with your parries, you can use the balanced sword. If you would like either of the balanced swords, I would prefer this one if I was running a balanced sword. It just gives that extra cleaving potential. Up to you guys. Now we'll move on to the plasma pistol. On the plasma pistol here, I do have the extra ammo. That extra ammo is so nice. Definitely worth getting. And I went bottom tree on this one as well. Definitely just helps a lot. Weapon's cool 15% faster. Keeps your weapon cool the majority of the time. After killing 10 enemies in rapid succession, you deal 25% more damage for 5 seconds. Cooldown is 30 seconds. It's not exactly the easiest thing to do in the world with this pistol, but it is definitely easier than the other pistols, as this one has splash damage with the charged shot. If you're using the plasma pistol, make sure you're charging your shot almost every time you fire. You're going to be doing a lot more damage, and you can actually reduce the amount of ammo it takes for a charged shot. So basically you're going to use around the same amount of ammo to kill an enemy with charged shots versus non-charged shots. Damage from a charged shot increases by 10%, just makes it so much stronger. Damage radius of a charged shot increases by 5%. I like the splash damage. I love the splash damage on this pistol. Damage increases by 10% against terminus enemies. This is just helpful for the Bulwark, as you're gonna be up in the enemy's face the entire time, and it does actually help with gunstrike damage, believe it or not. Energy reserve plasma weapons increases by 20%. Just gives you that extra ammo. Shots charge 20% faster, so you're gonna keep those charged shots up and running every time you fire. Charged shots from plasma weapons use 2% less energy. This is the one I was talking about. Super, super helpful. You are able to conserve a lot more ammo with this. Now, that is it for the build, I believe. Yes, it is. That is it for the build. I am going to move into the gameplay. If you are watching on YouTube, we will see you guys in just a second. Okay, here we go. We are going to talk a little bit about how I actually play the character. For these majors, I like to go ahead and hit them with a couple charge shots, just get them ready. Take them out if you can. It will help you out in the long run. Power rate is nice. See how I'm switching combat styles constantly? Definitely helps you. Definitely wanted that gun strike. That's okay. You're gonna try to keep your shield up almost at all times as the Bulwark. The more your shield is up, the less damage you and your team are gonna take. As you kill spore mines, it will help you eliminate the horde. Get that shock area up. See if I can show this other perk. Yep. Instantly down. Banner. Execute flawless. Simple. I'm gonna grab this Guardian Relic, don't really need it, but I'm gonna grab it, just in case. I do try to lock on because it just helps your character to actually follow the enemy. Sometimes the GNC can spawn here, just in case you guys are wondering. And I always take the left path here, because if there are any enemies up here, you don't want to be getting shot from down there. Always try to throw a grenade into that swarm, because the actual explosive plants can help you to deal with the swarm there. I like to fire at the enemy first to soften them up a little bit. Again, just trying to get those parries at all times. Don't want him calling for reinforcements. If you charge a shot, it will instantly take them out of that as well, so they can't call for reinforcements. A parry will always cancel your animations, so don't be afraid to parry if you are mid-animation. And your parry does actually do damage, by the way. So if you feel like you need to, just go ahead and hit it. I'm gonna take this Melta charge. If you do a dodging attack and you hold the button, then you can actually switch into the next style and do an opener of that attack. It can help you to keep that buff up. Got full ammo, which is always nice.
It is deadly quiet.
Your worst enemy as a Bulwark is going to be Zoanthropes and Neurothropes. If you have to fight those, try to let your other teammates deal with them. As much as I hate to tell you that, knowing that I love the Bulwark, See, you could just spam that. Just spam that parry. Bulwark has a very high recovery time on his parries. Do not be afraid to parry. There is a Ravener here. I'm gonna wait and take him out real quick. Don't want to have to deal with him too much. There we go. Always make sure you're dealing with those extremist enemies as fast as you can. I am gonna grab that, actually, just in case. Stems are always nice to hold on to, just in case, because you never know what can happen. This is a game that can change in an instant. I didn't know if there was a guard down there or not. You are an amazing crowd controlling class with the Bulwark. That should be your job. Deal with the crowd.
This looks promising. We have located the coast.
I'm gonna go back here really quick. Armory data can spawn right here. There will be a little servo skull if you feel like you're looking for those. We'll head on to the next area.
In our next battle, I shall take me. That all this unprocessed promethium shall make a fire that will be seen from the sun.
Always, always, always deal with the mages first. Down, instantly. Those Majoris enemies are definitely worth taking out. And notice how I'm firing at the ground for these miners. The Minoris enemies, firing at the ground can help you splash damage. You are a decent class. Another gene seed can spawn here. You can almost always get you will always get a gun strike if you do the running attack first. Got an enemy wave incoming. This might be a massive wave. Typically it's a massive wave here if we get a wave to spawn in this area. Not the one I want to do. I wanted to get him. That's fine. He's down, and it is a massive wave, so I am going to teach you how to deal with that as a Bulwark. You're going to back yourself up into a corner. If you can't get into a corner, just try to keep them from surrounding you. Do the shield bash, gun strike. That's what's going to keep you alive. Watch out for snipers. Just in case you can't. Back yourself into a corner. Just do what you can to keep the enemies in front of you. Can't keep them in front of you, you're gonna struggle here. Banner down, full health again. Instantly. There are a lot of enemies behind me, so I'm gonna try to focus back here. Shield bash. Get that gun strike. Anytime you can get an execution, get it, it will keep you alive. You want to spend the majority of your fight in execution animations. Those gun strikes are going to do a lot for you. They are keeping me alive here. shield bash incapacitated him. This is on Ruthless, by the way. Keep that in mind. I can show that here in just a second. I can show that this is on Ruthless difficulty. If you look up in the top left corner, Threat, Ruthless. The shield will help a lot. The shield can block almost all range damage. You're still going to watch out for snipers. Snipers are going to hurt. Doesn't matter if your shield is up or not. This is not as strong as an Iron Halo on the Heavy. You have to keep that in mind. The Heavy's Iron Halo is definitely going to outdo you when it comes to protecting against range damage. The Iron Halo will always, it will block every ranged attack. Whether that be from a Neurothrope, a Zoanthrope, or even a Sniper. Your shield is mainly going to be used for light enemy fire. If you are playing the Bulwark or the Heavy, you can come up to the actual armory, click on your loadout that you are currently using, or whichever one you want to, and you will restore full health. I'm going to take these frags because they will be very helpful in this area. Notice I did not use a stem that entire fight. Using a stem in that fight would have actually put me in a stem animation, and the only way to cancel a stem animation is during a parry. You have a very high chance of dying in that case. Now, while I am in this room, I'm going to go ahead and show you another armory data location, just in case you need that armory data. I've got every weapon for the Bulwark already relic tier. Right here is another relic armory data location. I'll also show you there is a gene seed location in this room. I'm pretty sure there's another one as well, but I've not found it. I am focusing on the ones that I do know. I'm gonna go ahead and be honest with you. I don't know all of them. Him out. There is a Zoanthrope. With these Zoanthropes, keep something between you and them. That goes for any class, but especially the Bulwark and the Assault. Bulwark and the Assault are not going to have a primary weapon to help you deal with them. Don't want him calling reinforcements. I do want to take him out before I have to deal with this Zoanthrope. Down. Even with these attacks, you have to make sure you're not trying to block these. You are not going to block them. Again, you're not playing Heavy. You are a Bulwark. You are a wall for your team to hide behind, yes, but you need to stay alive in order for that to happen. Zoanthropes are basically an ammo check in this game. Take them out as soon as possible. If you cannot take them out, if you have the opportunity to move forward, move forward. Another gene seed location is back here. One can spawn right here in this little area. There might be another one in this room. I am not positive on that fact. I'm gonna go ahead and use the crane. If you have the explosive barrels spawn here, you can move them. That way when the first wave of enemies spawns, you could shoot that and take them out instantly. Since there are 3 grenades here, I will be using my grenades for this first wave when they spawn. Now I have to protect generator 2. Always make sure you are going to these. Failing at one generator is enough to fail the mission, so be careful on that. Surprised I caught him in time. He's down. That takes out a lot of enemies here. Taking out the Majoris enemies can help you to defend the area a lot easier. And notice I'm using my power swirl stance very often. He's gonna call, I'm not gonna have time to shoot him. That's okay. At any time, if you can prevent that, prevent it. Gen 4 is where I need to go now. Notice immediately I'm heading down there. Don't care how many enemies up here. I'm heading straight to the generator. If you don't head right to the generator, even with him calling, you need to head down there. Otherwise you will fail the mission and lose all of your progress. I'm gonna go ahead and throw some nades. There's that. Even the power swirl can give you a chance for more gun strikes. More gun strikes equals more armor equals more survivability. A lot of people struggle with the armor in this game, and you are complaining a lot about the armor. I get that, I get it, I understand. It feels like it's made of paper mache. If you're keeping it up, as long as your armor is up, your health is not taking damage. Keep your armor up. It is so vital. After 2 generators, typically one of the cranes will get jammed. It's not always, but oftentimes one of them will get jammed. Just go ahead and hit that. Now sometimes you don't have to do all of these. You don't have to do all of this, just better for you guys. I had to take him out. I didn't care if I got hit with this guy. Hello! Now see, it's concluded. I'm gonna go ahead and start moving backwards. Execute him, because I got that instant incapacitation. Just move forward. This character is actually so hard to take out, and I understand that it can be difficult. He's attacking a teammate that is not there. Cool. I understand that sometimes this game can be difficult, but if you are playing it the right way, it is super simple. Again, all I'm doing is walking toward them. They can't take out my shield. There was nothing they could have done there. And you might be thinking, well, why not play heavy? Heavy does not have this level of survivability. It's a good support class. That is a good damaging class. But he does not have the level of survivability that the Bulwark does. The level of survivability that the Bulwark has is unmatched by any other class. The Vanguard is good, the Vanguard can stay alive, but not nearly as well as the Bulwark. I'm just gonna say that. He dodged me. Just to get parried anyway. Another armory data can spawn down here. I don't know the other locations of the gene seeds, but I know the last 2 locations of armory data. One can spawn right there. I'm gonna go ahead and see what's here. An armor boost, I'll take it. Not gonna matter too awfully much, but I am gonna grab it. I am being honest though, I do not know the other two locations, as I believe there's two other locations that the GNC can spawn.
We will be your bulwark, Brother Titus. Rest assured.
I've not done enough research. I will be doing more research shortly. And I got a Carnifex spawn, which is nice, but also not nice at the same time. Definitely an ammo check. Okay. He's just gonna keep attacking my teammate, I'll give him that. Now, with the Carnifex, one annoying thing about Carnifexes, their hitboxes are a little broken. You're gonna have to keep that in mind as you're playing it. I will take that. Perfect dodge, gave me another gun strike, I'll take it. I do not like fighting him here, by the way. Full health again, that charge shot just does so much for the health. I'm gonna go ahead and run that stem. It's just nice to have. That hurt. Run this stem. I want to keep my health up on this fight. Knew that was coming. Don't have a whole lot of room to dodge here, especially for perfect dodges. He might just down me here, we'll see. Really hope not, but we'll see here. Might just happen. Again, broken hitboxes are gonna hurt you no matter what. The gun strike. Ooh, like that. Yeah, he's probably gonna down me here, which is okay. I might just leave this fight, to be honest. That is fine. Things like that are going to happen. On the Carnifex, you're gonna struggle. On any Terminus enemy as the Bulwark, you're gonna struggle. I love the Bulwark, I do. But he struggles sometimes. You're gonna have a better time against the smaller enemies. Or if you have actual live teammates. I don't need the armory data, so I am going to move forward. If you do end up going down, do not get frustrated. Things happen. Just remember, you can always be revived. Another relic data can spawn right there. It can be a little embarrassing when you do go down as you're trying to do a guide, but things do happen again. I could kill him, I'm not going to worry about it. Again, I don't need the relic data, I'm just going to move forward. Try to stay in the enemy's face, try to get your dodges down, try to get the parries down. on the Carnifex, I still have issues with parries and dodges. I'm not even gonna lie. I am not the best player at this game. I'm not going to try to say that I am, but I am still here doing this for you guys.
Swarm is upon us. We are prepared for a controlled burn.
I did not mean to click that yet. I went ahead and did it just, without even thinking about it. But that's fine because they are still coming from right there. This is one of my favorite parts for the Bulwark. It really showcases his survivability against the Swarm. This is where the Bulwark shines. I can move literally every enemy back. He's down and dead. That takes out a lot of the enemies around me. I focus on that. That is how you should run the Bulwark. If you are an effective Bulwark, if you have actual teammates, as currently I still have AIs, which is fine. You are going to be dealing with the Swarm. You're going to be keeping them away from the teammates while they do the damage. Another one down. That power swirl will be your best friend as well. The power rake, the power swirl, all of that. Should be behind me. I'm not sure where they're gonna spawn yet. Let's see. Right here. I hate the spores. Everybody hates the spores. They can be annoying. Everybody hates the spores if you're dealing with the spores. Oh yeah, by the way, make sure you shoot those bird. I forget what they're called. The bird bulbs, I believe is what they're called. Get my armor back. Banner, health, instant, back up. That's why those two skills go hand in hand together. Dodged. Another execution. Spend the majority of your time on these again. That's with every character. Briar bulbs are the most annoying thing in the game, other than zoanthropes and neurothropes.
Ready for another tyrannic push.
Execution. I got more spawning down there. I'm not gonna be able to get to the Prometheum. I'm just gonna deal with them here. Another fun thing that you can do is you can just keep knocking them off. You can cancel the animation as long as you keep pressing the block right after your shield bash. Ooh, should have dodged him. Execution, again, down. All of them down. Now, while it doesn't kill all of the Minoris enemies, it will stun a lot of them when you kill a Majoris enemy. But you can then use that stun to take them out. Also, when you have to parry one of the blue attacks from the Minoris enemies and you get that free execution, it does count as an execution. You have your banner down before you do that. If you can get it down before you do that, you can still regain full health. That'll still count. Range enemies. As long as you're running, you are blocking with the Bulwark. I'm gonna go ahead to detonation. Just end the mission here. Hello, Ravener. Another one down. And just like that, mission is completed. This was on Ruthless solo. Didn't take out the Carnifex, but that is okay. Not too worried about the Carnifex, like I said. As a Bulwark, you are meant to stay alive. If it comes to fighting Terminus enemies, allow your teammates to do the bulk of that damage. You don't have to lone wolf it. And that shows. I mean, yes, I died. I died on the Carnifex fight. That is perfectly okay. It's gonna happen. Terminus enemies are gonna be harder for you to fight. If you have your parry timing and your dodge timing down, you're gonna do great. Focus on getting those down first. If you're struggling, pick a balanced weapon, deal with learning how to parry on that first. You'll do great later on down the road. Anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, leave a thumbs up. If you're new or returning, and you haven't subscribed already, why not? You've stuck around this long, might as well go ahead and do so. If this video helped you out at all, go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know if you learned anything. It'll help me out and help me to see what you guys actually like. If you want to see more of this type of video, again, let me know down below. The next video I will be putting out will be a build guide for the Tactical himself. The Tactical, for the longest time, was my main. If you guys have been around the channel a little bit, you will know. Love the Tactical. He will be the next build video coming out, and then I will do the Heavy. As of right now, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed, and I will catch you guys in the next video.